Yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, y'all? Man, listen, man. I'm figuring this thing out. Hold on. Let me see. Pause on everything else. Get this to the top. What's happening? All right, let's see. Pin message. Okay, now I gotta send this link out. So, man, listen, man. I'm gonna tell y'all this much. Trying to be ambitious ain't easy. Being ambitious ain't easy. Let me see. Link here. Let me make sure I posted this in the other chat. Actually, let me unpin this. New live link here. Okay. Oh god, this is so annoying. Hey, somebody. I can't post it. I gotta wait till it moves up. Oh, there we go. All right, so hopefully you should come over to the new chat. Come over. I'm gonna still answer. I'm gonna try to switch between both chats while I answer both questions in both, since a lot of people. Oh, y'all here? All right, cool. Woo! What's happening, y'all? What's happening? What's happening? All right, let me post it one more place. Post it in the group so everybody know where it's at. How y'all doing today? What y'all pouring up? That's always my first question: is what y'all pouring up? Because as y'all know, each and every Wednesday we pull up as we learn and we laugh. Now let me get your questions up. Get your questions up. As more people roll in, I'm gonna start getting my stuff, my drink and stuff. All right, let me see. Let me see. Okay, got my drink, got my cigar, got my drink. All right. Woo! Who drinking H20? He drinking water. Wussy. No, I'm just fine. All right. Got to charge my laptop up a little bit. But we good. What's happening, y'all? Are y'all happy to see me as I'm happy to see y'all? Let's see. Let's see what we got going on. First off, just want you to know I'm drinking some bamboo. Today we're drinking bamboo. Get right. I ain't gonna wash it down with a Diet Coke. When you're drinking fine liquors, you're not really supposed to mix them. But and so today I'm not gonna mix them. You know, I'm gonna drink them how they're supposed to be drinking. Oh, let me get my ashtray. All right, I got my ashtray. This is my ashtray for the cup. For the car. If you got a car, you're smoking your car, especially when you smoke cigars like I do, you got to have ashtrays everywhere. And I found they make these off Amazon. So yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's get right into it. Let's get into business. Cuban. No, this is not a Cuban. This is a Drew Estate Java latte cigar. Really flavorful. Really good. Women love these kind of cigars because again, they're very flavorful. It's not, you don't have to be like a cigar expert or aficionado to enjoy a Java. It's kind of for like those mid-tier smokers who just want something nice, that smell good, that tastes good, that's easy to smoke. Java Drew Estate latte Javas are best to go, especially latte. Latte is one of my favorite flavors. I usually drink it with a latte. Have it with a latte, but we drinking tonight. So, all right. So let's get in these questions, man. I got so much I want to talk to y'all about. By the way, I don't know if any of y'all know. Some of y'all probably know because most of y'all at least come from some social media site you follow me on. So I start a new role with the feds as an AWS cloud engineer with the feds. Can't tell you which department, but it's up there. It's like high. Like this is a life achievement for me. Already be in this field, in this space, doing the type of work, helping people, but to be able to all do cloud engineering at a federal level for a federal company. If you know me, you know that I love my nation proudly. You know what I'm saying? So to go from having a GD, riding Uber and Lyft and all those things and working my way up from scratch, just 3 years ago, again, I was in an Uber. I was picking one of y'all up in an Uber, being annoyed by one of y'all turning the radio up so I don't have to talk to now for the feds, this is crazy. But just can't go into details of what department for security reasons, of course. But man, this and it just shows the innovation of how cloud is starting to take over the world. If it's starting to creep into sectors such as the feds are starting to integrate cloud infrastructure in their tech stacks. But this speaks as more opportunity. The more I achieve, the more I can do for everybody else. That's how I always do it. I do things to take care of my family first, but after that, it's to help everybody else get their own opportunities or create more opportunities for others. So let's get into these questions, man. Talk about age discrimination. All right. What's happening, AD? What's happening, Adrian? Age discrimination. So who's dealt with age discrimination before? Have you ever dealt with it on a job before? I have, especially when I was younger. I've always kind of been the youngest to do things, even when I worked in corporate at 20 years old. I worked for a telecommunications company, and I was the youngest there. I wasn't, everybody there was like 30s, 40s, 50s, and I was 20. But I always say, if you got the skills and if you know what you're doing, if you work hard, man, you can get past a lot of age discrimination. But specifically here in tech, I spoke on this last week a little bit. There's not really a huge emphasis on age discrimination because most people, the average person's doing a job, and I put this list out like last year, doing a lot of these jobs are like in their 40s. You'll be highly surprised. Like most engineers are still about between average of late 30s, mid 40s is like the average tech age. So even if you're like 50, it's not abnormal to be working with somebody a decade or more older than you. And everybody mature adults. Now, I'll tell you something funny. A funny fact that's been going around, funny issue in the industry is that there's actually been a lot of age discrimination for kids coming out of high school. I say kids respectfully, but young people coming out of high school, college, trying to get into technical roles. They face more age discrimination than older people because a lot of these companies feel like they might not be mature enough to be around other more senior adults. And on top of that, security reasons, like they don't know if they can trust them handling PII data or PHI data, or handling the company secrets, etc. Being careless with this stuff. This is why when you're working in coffee shops and stuff like that, public settings, a lot of companies starting to kind of create policies against that because again, it's security risk. But when you're a young person and that's how you live your lifestyle, remote tech lifestyle, you want to sit up at a coffee shop, have your MacBook or your nice laptop, sit up with your nice latte, your fresh clothes, t-shirt, shades and stuff on. Your identity and stuff. People are peeking over your shoulder, stealing information and copying your data. And you're on a public network. So you don't know what kind of packet spamming, packets swiping is going on the network. So it's more so for the younger people who face age discrimination, not really young older people. So hopefully that answer your question. What else we got? Let me see. What can I do with the AWS CCP certification? Nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. Here's what I'm gonna say about that. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'm trying to keep up. I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the congrats, man. I work really hard for this. Like, I'm gonna tell you about the process in a minute, but I want to answer this question. So again, when I talk about these, so you have these fundamental certifications, right? Google has some with their IT certification. You see, Azure has their fundamentals 500 certification. AWS has their infamous cloud CCP practitioner certification. Unless you're in sales, all right, or unless you're a non-technical person and one of your job's responsibilities is to interact with technology, a fundamentals cloud certification won't do you justice. Not anymore. Now, a year and a half ago, I'll say go for the CCP. It'll get you in the door for a cloud engineer role. Now, because companies have matured in a way of understanding that you need more skills than a CCP would allow a person. Now, if you go to the next level and get associate level certification, which is your AWS Solutions Architect or AWS Specialty certification, like a AWS Cloud Security certification, or any of the Azure associate level certifications, or even the Google Cloud Engineer certification, which I always say is money. The two money certifications to hit the money and really get you on the mark where you can get one certification and not have to worry about getting another certification for at least a year and a half. You can just focus on building your projects, building your portfolio, and interviewing until you get your first role, is the Google Cloud Engineer certification or your AWS Solutions Architect Associate certification. Those two certifications prove that you have engineering skills because they require that you have some type of engineering knowledge when it comes to dealing with cloud infrastructure stacks. Because you're building security groups, you have to have a deeper understanding of firewalls, NACLs, VPCs, you have an understanding of IAM role policies, etc. So those two are, I would easily put those over getting the AWS CCP. So if you're studying for AWS CCP, drop it. It's not worth it. That's, that nobody's really checking for, again, unless you're going in a route of not getting a technical role. Like if you want to be a technical account manager, like if you want to go into sales, tech sales, like if you want to go into project management, like if you want to go into some type of sales rep, a customer service, even some customer service roles. But if you want to go into a non-technical role, even like a cloud product manager, you want to go into those roles, then yeah, you can get the cloud CCP, AWS CCP, because it basically tells you have knowledge to be able to you have a foundational understanding of how the cloud works. So therefore you can communicate cloud technology to people who don't know anything about cloud technology. Does that make sense to you? What else we got? Hold on, what y'all sipping on? I see these questions are great. I love these questions. But what are y'all sipping on first? I need to make sure I'm not the only one sipping. All right, because I don't want to be the only one sober, to be honest with you. What are y'all sipping on? I'm gonna answer more questions while y'all answer my question. I might have to refill. Look at this. You know what? I was drinking so much last week. I got a little bit in the car, matter of fact. It's some white though. It's that French vanilla I've been sipping on for weeks. I was sipping so much last week. I was kind of getting drunk on the live last week. So I had to calm down. I said, man, I poured too much liquor. Let me slow down. So I think I did. I was too conservative today, but we're going to see. All right. From the UK, Yusuf, what part of the UK, man? Shout out to UK, man. I was over there in Germany and Switzerland. It's not the UK, but it's closer than what it. Yeah, it's closer than where the States are. So shout out to the UK. It was a lot of people I met from the UK in Germany and Switzerland. But shout out to the UK, man. Thank you for joining us. It's late over there. It's got y'all like 7 hours up, 7 hours ahead of us. Man, you're a trooper. I'm going to make sure I answer all your questions you got tonight, Yusuf. All right. Shout out to East London. Yeah. Question: working towards becoming solutions architect for me to break into the industry, and I first have to work on becoming a cloud infrastructure engineer. Okay, good question. I love that question, actually, Yusuf. Hmm. So, uh, um, so a cloud infrastructure engineer is a great role to graft. I'm not sure that you'll be able to land that in your first role if you don't have technical experience, because a cloud infrastructure engineer is a person a little bit more seasoned. You have some DevOps experience. Um, you usually aren't qualified for that role until you've been in tech at least for like 2 years, 1 to 2 years. 1 year if you've really been, busting your butt learning technology. But I'd say 2 years is a safe part where they're interested in pulling people up to become infrastructure engineers. So do you have to become an infrastructure engineer to become an SAA? You don't. No. Here's a trick to that. You can become an SAA by simply, it's two ways. One, you need to, it's a senior level role for the most part. So you can't just walk with a certification. I don't care what kind of credentials you have. If you have no tech experience, you can't just walk into a solutions architect role. That's a senior level role. Um, but there's a ways you can work yourself into it pretty efficiently. One is you need to Upwork, use get contracting tech jobs, tech roles that require you to help build things for people, help design and build things for people in the cloud. That's one. The more you do those type of contracts, and they can vary from one needing you just for one day to needing you for a couple months. Um, you can go on sites like Upwork or Craigslist or any other site, or even Fringe and Network, whoever's building a website, whoever. If you can design it in the cloud space, you use any cloud platform. If you can design it for them and then help them build it, you don't even have to build the whole thing yourself, but help them build it. Therefore, it helps you be able to speak to it all in interviews. You can, on top of having some type of solutions arc certification, you will qualify for a lot of solutions architect roles, because the main key thing is they want to see that you are able to communicate technical stuff to non-technical people. They want us to see that you have some type of design proof of designing solutions to people problems. So if they have a website they want to put on the cloud, on a host server, a cloud host server, if they have a web application they want to migrate from on-premise to the cloud, if they have a database they want to migrate from on-premise to the cloud, you can do these things for them and add that as experience to your resume. And it stacks up over the years. And it doesn't have to take years, but if you have enough of it and you can speak to it eloquently in interviews, yeah, you'll qualify for a lot of SAA roles. But most importantly, you still have to get that SAA certification. And here's why. Because companies sell to their customers and their clientele that their architects are industry certified. That's why. The certification itself isn't going to make you a guru, but it's a selling point. It's a selling tool for that company to get more clients and establish trust that you all know what you're doing. And it establishes trust in that company knowing that you know what you're doing as an engineer. Does that make sense to you? So cloud infrastructure role, you can go for it. I say go for it, especially if you have tech experience. Be prepared to do a lot of DevOps work, meaning you're going to work with a lot of command line. You need to know some scripting language. You need to be able to work with metrics, reporting softwares like Grafana or Prometheus, etc. So, but it's all doable though. All doable. This stuff is all very doable. I know this may sound like a lot, but it's really not. I've really only listed like 5 or 6 things, and these are things that are doable within a year. By the way, Ms. Jones in the building. What's happening, Ms. Jones? What you sipping on tonight? What you sipping on? What are you sipping on tonight, Ms. Jones? Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, let me see what other questions we got. Forgive me if I'm kind of trying to scroll through the top and the bottom, make sure I hit everything, get people welcoming them in, as well as answering questions. All right, so let's see. I'm drinking H20. Okay, I don't know what that is, Yusuf. It's H20 water. I say I don't know what H20. I thought it was like a beer, but it's water. What is it? Oh, who drinking lemonade? Is it Mike Hard lemonade? Is it spiked lemonade? Or just regular lemonade? Y'all very soft tonight, man. Who drinking with me tonight, man? Who drinking with me? All right. Let's see what we got. Alphabet boys. Right, I'm with the feds. Yeah, hit that like button, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Crazy. I did when I was younger. I don't look my age. What certifications I need to start a career in cloud? Oh, I think I answered that earlier, but I'm gonna answer it again. It's not about. I want you all to think in terms of this in order to get a cloud job, any cloud role job. Certs and projects. It's not certs. It's not just projects. It's certs and projects. You want to go in. I'm all about, especially working with my students. I want you all to have the most competitive advantage when going after roles. Like I don't want to have them to have to make you sit there and second guess you because you don't have enough. I don't want you looking back figuring like, oh, I don't have enough on my plate. I don't have enough credentials on my plate. No, I want you going straight forward. Like, look, I got all the credentials I need. I just need to keep striking forward until one of these jobs give me an offer letter. But search and credentials. But I mentioned the search. Great key search to start with are either Google Cloud Engineering certification or the AWS Solutions Arc certifications. Great cloud certifications to start with. But make sure you also do projects. All right. Also, before you even start on those cloud certifications, I highly recommend personally, if any of y'all was sitting next to me and said, look, for real deal, help me get from 0 to here. I would say the first cert you need to start with, honestly, that's going to make you a superstar in the short term future is that networking plus certification because it covers enough for you to have acquired the skills of a security engineer and a cloud engineer, a cloud security engineer and a cloud engineer, cloud infrastructure. All that is covered. You're going to do those types of tasks anyway within most of your cloud engineering roles, but you'll have working knowledge of how networks work, and that is key to this day. And you'll be highly surprised at how many companies lack network specialists on their team and heavily rely on the network specialists that are on the team. So when they come across people who have network plus, what's happening, Tim? Everything, man. So when you run across people who have a net plus certification, then it gives you a lot of robust advantage and getting sought after for interviews and helping you crush your interviews because you have a strong foundation of networking, of the fundamentals of networking. And networking is everything in the cloud, to be honest with you. It's like the core fundamental skill that everyone should really have. So if you have that at Net Plus Cert, you have it at a higher level than most people. And CompTIA always doing deals and giving free stuff away for that certification. So it's one of those certifications you can take advantage of when they offer them at a half discounted price or whatever. Is solutions architect stressful? No, to be honest with you, it's not stressful. Solution architects, you have two parts. You have a cloud architect, which is me, and you also have solutions architects, which are more so consultants. They don't really do any engineering at all, meaning they're not on hands-on keyboard executing on the designs. They're just creating the designs, or they're troubleshooting bugs engineers run into that interact with that specific technology, cloud technology. So it's mostly a consulting role. So it's not engineering heavy at all. So it's actually, you might have to get on some calls with customers and explain things. And like, again, you're a liaison. It's more sales type of role. It's sales leaning than engineer leaning. Cloud architects are engineer leaning. We're purely executing on designs and oftentimes creating solutions or creating designs as well. So cloud architect is more of the stressful role than a solutions architect. Solutions architect roles can be sweet. But again, and then if you don't mind talking to people, solutions architect is a way to go because most of the time it's customers facing. So you're dealing with C-level suite executives. You're dealing with people sorry about that. You're dealing with people at a high level that are doing this stuff. So just be prepared for that. All right, what else we got? Let me make sure I'm welcoming everybody. What's happening? No Limit? What you drinking on, man? He said, I thought you was drinking some vodka. Nah, tonight we got the bamboo rum. We're drinking brown tonight. I said that in the post. We're drinking brown tonight. We're drinking brown. Well, let me answer some of these questions at the bottom before I go back to the top. Should I get the Azure tool after I get the Azure after I get some experience or stick with the fundamentals. What is that 204? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the yeah, I think that's the solutions architect certification for Azure. Uh Here's why I would say do your projects before you do the certifications because it's gonna make studying for your certifications a breeze. One of these are one of the mistakes I made earlier in my career, and I've seen it make a tremendous upside difference for my students who study for their certifications. When you versus doing the projects first. When you do the projects first, it just you're learning everything. First, these projects are very well guided, so it's hard for you to make mistakes or especially costly mistakes. Um, and then most of them are free for the most part. They might cost you 50 cents, a dollar a month, or something like that if you leave a service running and forget to terminate it. But yeah, it's you can definitely you should do projects, do Azure Cloud Architect projects. Google it, do three of them, and then start studying for your certification. Trust me, it's gonna make it easier because when you're just studying for these certifications, especially a lot of these older ones, their term, a lot of them are they're so the study material is so term heavy based that if you never seen it, touched it, seen it, it be executed, etc. It's just words in your head. The whole picture doesn't fit into what it looks like and what it actually does to make your learning easier. A lot of time you'll get bored with it because it's just a lot of it's just text. You're reading text. Um, and it's hard to retain a lot of that when you haven't seen it work at play in the grand scheme of things. So start with doing Azure architect projects and then start when you I'll say when you at least get two under your belt, then start studying for your Azure 1, 2, or 4. I'm telling you, it's going to make a night and day difference in how fast you study, and how much more. Number one thing, and overall, this is confidence. How much confidence is going to build in you to be able to have the bravery to schedule that exam and then go in and take that exam. Because a lot of people have anxiety because they never touched any of this stuff on what to do when they're actually a lot of people have anxiety on taking an exam because they don't know what to expect and they're trying to memorize terms and what things pictures look like, etc. But it's different when you've touched it before. You know how it interacts with things, so you know scenario questions that are based out of it. The exam are mostly scenario questions, and so you'll be able to know what those scenarios are. So hopefully that helps. So yeah, start doing projects first, and then do your certifications. Also you get to add those projects to your resume as experience. That's work experience right there. You add it to your resume. Boom. So now the more projects you do, the more experience you get to add up. So you kind of get beyond those questions or concerns recruiters might have for you having a lack of experience. Because you're like, no, I got experience. Well, they're not going to ask you because they're going to look on it and see you have the experience. They just might ask you about those experiences. Let's see what else we got. Who else we got up in here? Anybody new joined us? Dalton, what's happening? What's happening? Dalton, Texas. Are you in Texas? Are you from Texas? Yusuf, what time you going to bed, man? Because I know it's late for you. What time you go to bed, man? I was struggling. You hear me talking to my wife and stuff here while I was over there in Switzerland, like because the time difference was crazy. It'd be like 11 p.m. midnight over there and like 6 o'clock here. Let's see what else we got. Us got has lots of jobs under category 2210. Oh, cool. Okay. It's been an answer that. I live in the suburbs. All right. What's the entry level contract rate for a role in a major city like New York? Entry level contract for salary for it's funny. My bro just got a Facebook job out of New York. But he accepted the one in Austin. Entry level in New York, I would say the acceptable amount is like $80,000 for entry level out of New York. You might run into more, might be like 90,000, 95, but 80,000 I would say is the baseline. Now there are jobs out there that pay entry level jobs that pay like 60, 65. It's never really there's not a lot that usually starts at 70. It's always these even numbers between 60s and 80s. So if you take a job that's like 60s, be prepared to, I say, let's just say you want to take on an entry level job just to get your foot in the door. Okay. Let's say you're going to take a financial hit just to take a financial upside later on, for a financial bounce over later on. When you take a job that's like $60,000, $65,000, be prepared. Go with the mentality like I'm gonna learn as much as I can, gain as much as I can, stuff my resume up with as much as I can, so that I can prepare to bounce from this job within 6 months. You don't want to be in an entry level job making $60,000, $65,000 for a year or more. You want to be there at most really for like 6 months. And the thing about in tech, nobody takes hard feelings about people who are moving from one job to the next, especially entry level jobs. They know most of y'all are only here temporarily. Nobody's really trying to make a career out of entry level roles. They know that. And in the tech industry, we're very friendly to people who are trying to continue to build their career and go after the opportunity, especially when the market has its moments of being hot. Like right now, the market is hot. So hopefully that answers your question. But again, you can start at 80, but or you can, if you started at 65, that doesn't mean that's where, in a year and a half from now, you're staring down six figures. If not, should be making six figures a year and a half from now. It took me about a year to get to my six figures. So, but again, you got to lock in. But I always say the hardest you're gonna ever work is getting that first tech role, especially in cloud tech. That's the hardest you're gonna work. After that, you're gonna learn the system, you're gonna learn the terminology, you're gonna learn how the industry works, recruiters work, the hiring process, etc. And you're gonna be a beast from there. All right. Let's see what we got. Did Ms. Jones ever answer my question about what she drinking? Let's see what else we got. I'm gonna answer that CC. He said very late, bro, like midnight. Dang, man, what time do you usually go to bed? Don't tell me you just staying up for me, man. What time you usually go to bed? I need to cut this light on, don't I? Hold on 1 second. I think I got enough juice to take this off. 1 second. All right, cool. 1 second, y'all. There we go. All right. He said never limit. Yeah, never limit yourself, man. Go after it, man. Network Plus, yeah. What about getting the CCNA? CCNA is great. Usually people get that Network Plus before they get the CCNA. It's kind of prepares you for that CCNA, but CCNA is gold. You can damn near walk in. CCNA is one of them certifications where you don't have to have really less than any technical background experience to be able to get a networking role, a network engineering job. There's a lack of network engineers out there. People who are specialty is networking. There's a real lack of that talent pool. So therefore, people who are network engineers get paid a lot and have a lot of opportunities, a lot of job opportunities. You find a lot of them actually work multiple contracts at the same time. And pulling in the type of money that you see them making is, you would think that they're on the bench in the NBA or something like that. It's crazy the kind of money you could run up as a network engineer. Had to start it all over, to be honest with you, I would have started off pursuing becoming a cloud network engineer, then a cloud network engineer, and just running it up from there. The work demand that network engineers have is a lot lackadaisical. Yeah, you're on the network engineering side, but a lot of your job you can automate, and a lot of your job is based off monetization anyway. So you're just making sure that networks are smooth, people have the access that they need to have access to as far as machines or different environments, etc. And then you're working at various times of the days and nights. You're not always required to be working day shift or things like that. A lot of the time they're working midnight, 3 a.m, running tests, things like that. Like, it's a really very interesting work lifestyle when it comes to network engineers. So that CCNA is gold standard. I say if you get that CCNA, you won't have to get the AWS cloud security. You won't have to get any cloud networking certification. That CCNA can carry you for as long as you want. Now you do have to, I think you do have to keep You have to keep your cert alive. I think it's good for 2 or 3 years or something like that. You have to keep it active, but that CCNA is gold. So if you study for that and go for that, yeah, you can do a lot of things with that. Um, what are your thoughts on Google playing back folks 20,000 less than that kind of reports? How do you make sure you aren't getting played? Oh, we all getting played, not just black folk, but just in tech folk, just people overall, especially in the tech space. Because I made a post a couple weeks ago. I think it was last week or week before last, about how McDonald's basically saved themselves $10 billion in a year by just simply switching to the cloud. $10 billion. So let's think about that for a second. If I save a company, if let's say McDonald's hired, let's say they hired 10 cloud engineers, and we each saved the company $10 billion, and they're paying us only even $130,000. Do you feel like is that really equal value for work that you're doing? Not on top of how optimize of getting your applications and service to run on the cloud, and how it's even optimizing your money making opportunities. We talked about cost saving, but now we also talk about money making opportunity. How much more business you've been able to generate, and different sectors of business you've been able to go into. Like right now, Walmart is trying to get into the health market thanks to the cloud. Do you think you've been paid well? No. I'm a big advocate of that because I understand the business logic of it all. Cloud engineers, tech people, even though cloud engineers, we're the top paid tech people on average, we're still underpaid because of how the value contribution model that we're given to these corporations and companies. So, but I will say this: in order to not play yourself, when negotiating your salary with a recruiter, make sure you're paid on par with whites or whoever group. Is you need to make sure, one, you need to Google the average salary. One, you need to be prepared to walk away. That needs to be number one thing. You need to be prepared to say, I'm good. Even after you do all the interviews and you get the offer letter, you need to be prepared to say, I'm good if this doesn't go my way. All right, that gives you the ultimate leverage. Two is you need to Google the average salary that the person should be making and that role should be making. And then ask yourself, okay, how much of that do I want, do I need, do I qualify for? Me, I would go for all of them. If the average role is paying 135, I want 135, right? So it's also best you can utilize apps like Glassdoor. I've mentioned this on the last slide. You can use apps like Blind to see what people at that company are making and how you can negotiate, or what things you should say, or how much money you should ask for. Blind is where people work at all these tech companies go and anonymously comment about what's going on at their companies. They talk about everything from pay rates to layoffs to mean bosses to great bosses to great tech stacks, all types of, but it's all anonymously. So you don't know who the persons are, but the companies that work for are verified, because in order to get a membership on Blind, it's free, but you have to enter a company's info. Excuse me, a legitimate company's info that they have registered on their site in order to have access to this website. I've been using Blind for years. I got a job opportunity on Blind, matter of fact, my first one actually. So yeah, to make sure you're not getting played, always just Google, man. Google, what are they making? What are people talking about? Complaints, financial complaint issues with the company. Like just do your homework and be straight up with the recruiters. Most recruiters know what time it is. Like I always say, when recruiters call me and they say, before they even get to the question of, well, how much do you want for the role? I always say, they ask me, hey, Demecos, we wanted to know if you're in the job market for da-da-da. I'm like, all right, well, what's the role? It's a da-da-da-da-da. I was like, and then my next response is, okay, how much are they paying for the role? Or what's the pay rate for the role? That's what I would say. Depends on how formal or informal the person is. I say, what's the pay rate for the role? And they'll usually give me how much the role is. Tell me exactly. They say, this is the range we're looking for. And I always go for the top of the range. Now, sometimes they'll respond with, well, how much do you want? I say, well, how much? Again, I emphasize, well, how much are they offering for the role? right? And even then, you build, and this is all a part of networking. You build up a cool rapport with the recruiter or whatnot, and you ask them, hey, am I leaving any money on the table after you got your offer letter and stuff like that? You ask, okay, how much money am I realistically leaving on the table? Because you got to keep in mind, if you get hired onto a company through a recruitment company, a third-party recruitment company that's not under the actual company, they are going to take a percentage of the pay to give you the role. It's just a part of their business brain. You can't get around it unless you get directly hired on with the company through the company. Like if Google's HR team reached out to you, but if such and such HR team reached out to you who has a contract with Google, you get a percentage of that. So that's why I say you can, in this industry, you can always double. You see it, especially again among network engineers, they double up on contracts. They'll be working multiple contracts. Developers as well, working multiple, and software engineers working multiple contracts. Well, software engineers more so do a lot of gigs, but you work multiple, and you got to treat your tech career like a business that it is. They are going to play you. Everybody's going to play. A customer is going to play you. You know, everybody, you're going to get played, but you at least want to be able to dictate the terms of how you're getting played, if that makes sense to you. Is there a Google Doc or a secret Black group with salaries? I don't have one because I ain't got that much time to put into it, but man, I do so much research. It was one company, I forgot the name of them, but they put out like salaries of tech employees every year. There's multiple companies that put these things out. Just Google tech salary guide for the year 2022, because 2023 hasn't finished yet. And they spit out all kind of statistics about who's making what. They a lot of them don't base it off of race, they just base it off the role. But yeah, to make sure you're getting paid on par with your counterparts, man. And ask. I always ask about the money. And this again, all this is networking. Get friendly with the people in the roles. Even if you're on the outside looking in and you're interviewing and you got the offer letter, find people on LinkedIn who work with that company and ask them. Say, hey, can I ask, get to know them and ask them a question like, hey man, can I ask you an off the record question? Get their phone number. Because some of them don't want to disclose it in text so it don't get captured or anything. But, get the phone number or whatever and say, hey, I want to ask you off the record question. How much should I really be looking for in salary compared to what you're making now? Boom. And in most cases, they're going to tell you, because we're getting to this media age where people are more transparent because they understand pay differences between various groups. But yeah, a way to get around that is build rapport. Build rapport, do your research, and ask questions. And most importantly, though, always be prepared to walk away. Always. Now, if you out here starving, you hungry for your first role, you know what I'm saying? You're willing to take whatever is out there. You gotta sometimes eat crow to get your experience in the door or to get a certain role in your resume or whatever. If that's what you gotta do, then do it. Don't be too prideful to thinking, oh, it's not exactly what I want. If you need something that they have, but at the same time, always be prepared to walk away. You don't want to give something that you don't want to just take anything under the market, but you got to kind of judge these things on a case by case basis, But eventually, when you get to the point you build up enough experience, you've been in the industry for 3 or more years, yeah, you can afford to walk away from some stuff and really negotiate your leverage. But usually, always ask the recruiter. They're usually really cool. What other questions we got? What's happening? Y'all don't got quiet on me a little bit. Y'all hear it. A lot of y'all quiet. Who's still sipping? And what tech questions you got? I think I had some tech news to talk to y'all about in the meanwhile. Military. Let me see what that's saying. Military Cloud 2.0 is mostly AWS. Yeah. There's some Azure. Yeah, I always say if you're going the military route, Azure is if you have military experience, Azure is always gold. You can all going the Azure route will always be more beneficial to you because there's a lot of big contracts out there where they basically are they have military contracts with Azure. So again, I can't speak on too much because I'm with the feds now, but Azure and AWS, you can't lose either way, to be honest with you. There's no cloud certification you can get outside of the big three, Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud, that you're going to be with few job options. There's an abundance, like uh, dozens of thousands of jobs out there for each cloud platform. I think last time I looked for cloud engineers for AWS, for Azure cloud engineers was like 13,000, and that was just on Indeed, and that was just remote. So it didn't include hybrid, didn't include in office, didn't even include outside the states. We're living in a white man's world. This boy Yusuf is wild. We all been exploited. We all getting exploited. That's my question about working on multiple jobs. Yeah, it's possible, Sean. What's happening, Sean? Sean, what you sipping on, man? I ain't seen you. I don't know. You kind of new here, so I got to kind of get a feel for who you are. You know what I'm saying? But we sip around here. But yeah, people work multiple jobs. I mean, you don't want to publicize it. You don't want to go out there, and that's one of the things that's kind of frowned upon them among a lot of techies, seasoned techies. They don't like flash. This is one of those industries where being flashy and showboating is kind of frowned upon, especially for those in the engineering side. Because one, you don't want to be blowing up people's spots. Like, people got all kind of things going on that are legal, but all kind of things going on, and you don't want to just mess it up for everybody. A lot of people eating good in a lot of legal, cool ways, and they don't want you blowing it up. I said, "Oh yeah, I work multiple jobs and got it." Like, no, if you working multiple jobs or whatever, then that's your business. All right. If you helping somebody else work multiple jobs, then that's your business. But just be smart about everything. Because some companies do background checks while working for them. Like, a lot of employers will see if you are working other jobs that show up in the state data. And when they send out their employee verification, and they come back, and they contact that company, and they show that, they need you work during these hours, and these hours happen to be the same hours, you run into a big problem. All right, and all that could be avoided by you just keeping your mouth shut and being smart about these things. What do I think about cloud security? Cloud security is where it's at. This is why cloud security. This is why I encourage more people to pursue cloud security than cybersecurity, even though cloud security is a subsidiary of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is information security. Information security is the original name. The cool new name is cybersecurity. It's so much to learn in cybersecurity, so much that you're going to learn so much. It's going to take you at least a year to learn most of it. And on top of that, it's so much bureaucracy. Like, there's so much different levels. Search, are you in the red team or the blue team? Are you got this OEA certificate? So, like, you're going so around the world, touching so many different areas of security, to only end up in a role where they're going to have you deguzzling hard drives, paying you $15, $20 an hour, $25 an hour. When you can go into a cloud security role, get one cloud security certification, or come in with your network, and let alone if you have your network plus certification, but you have your cloud security certification, or you have your CCNA, and you have done some projects that you listed on your resume, and you're going into roles that are at minimum paying $80,000, $85,000 an hour. And the cloud security engineers, they don't work hard at all. I have a great story I'm going to share one day about my time working with a cloud security engineer when I was a cloud infrastructure engineer. It's going to trip you out. They do not work hard. He used to always have a cat. He used to always have his cat during our calls. He used to always wear fuzzy, furry headphones. Good guy, though. But, man, cloud security engineers do not work hard at all. They don't like getting bothered. They don't really get bothered. And a lot of their work is a lot of monitoring, making sure everything's running well, monitoring attacks, dealing with threats, dealing with access issues. Like, their job is so laxed, man. Cloud security engineers are lax, very laxed. And they happen to be cool, at peace with their roles. They're not usually the ambitious group that's trying to attack role after role. You don't really see them trying to learn certification after certification. They're really just trying to finite their skills in the space of being better at their jobs. Really cool people though. Cloud security engineers are a lot more laid back than cybersecurity engineers who are trying to be on the top and cutting edge of everything, learn everything. It's literally like saying, hey, uh, do you want to own a smoothie shop, or do you want to own a uh, Disneyland? That's the difference between the two. Which work lifestyle do you want? Running a theme park or running a smoothie shop? Cloud security engineers, cybersecurity engineers. Mm. What else we got? Oh man, I'm about to get off in a minute. I'm gonna give you about 15 more minutes since I started this. 10 more minutes. All right. What else? What questions we got? How does years gap really affect yours? You don't really, especially with all these layoffs and the C-19 and all this stuff. You don't really see a lot of. I'm trying to hit that. You don't really see a lot of issues with employment gaps being brought up by recruiters or hiring managers, unless you're trying to work for the federal government. But you really don't see it. They don't really ask for it. They don't really. They understand. And if they ask, they just be like, well, I got laid off, or I was making a transition. There's no. This isn't like other industries where that's a big deal. Oh, why they're having you work for 6 months? They understand how hard and tedious it is to try to find your next role, especially when you got a family, to take care of. So that's never really been a big issue. That's not really a big issue in this industry, is employment gaps, because a lot of people have employment. Like, it's common for people to have employment gaps. You might want to take a year off and travel the world. You can tell them that, it's not really a thing. They just care. Do you have experience touching technology that they want somebody to be able to touch? That's really it. Do you have the credentials as far as your certifications? That's really it. Do you speak well in your interviews? Are you clear? Do you come across as being able to be solution oriented? Do you come across as being a self starter, or do you wait on? Do you talk about, oh, you had to wait on somebody to see you? No, they want to know that you're a self initiator, a go getter. They want to know that you're easy to work with. All right, what would your co? They'll ask you more about what would your coworkers think about you than some employment gaps. What else we got? Mm, that was a good question. So I got vodka and cranberry. Okay, okay, appreciate that, Sean. Appreciate that. Okay, you sipping well. Hey, I respect. I'm all about. I need to know what your vices is before I can let you in my circle. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be upfront with my vices. You see, my vices are. So the better. It's an old school metric. The better I know your vices, the more I know that you're a trustworthy person. You know what I'm saying? Because if I don't know what your vices are, that means you got something I need to worry about. But somebody asked a good question. Blomby, are you American Blomby? That was a good question. I need to get in touch with you in private. Yeah, reach out to me. My email's at the top, info@bcloudengineers, or find me on social media. But yeah, are you? No, crazy. That's a good question. Are you going to interview more women? Yeah. So here's the thing about the women part. So, yes, there was one woman who wrote a cloud book for kids that I'm hoping to get in contact with. Um, Really, really, really interesting. Really a highly achieved woman. She's achieved some incredible things in this space. Been a cloud solutions architect here and there. She's been a cloud solution architect. I think when I looked on her LinkedIn since 2016, 2014, and has worked with some amazing companies, done some amazing work. But she wrote this book, and it's on Amazon, teaching cloud tech to kids. And I thought that was so dope, brilliant. So hopefully I can get her to have her on. Somebody big in the tech space just had me send them an email. They want to interview me to learn more about my story and stuff. And she's a woman, a Black woman at that. So here's the tricky thing about women. So, like I always say, the best engineers that I've ran into in this space SRE engineer, a TAM, technical account manager. SRE is a site reliability engineer to work in the cloud. Um, uh, a cloud engineers, even with the current company we met, the best engineers I've worked with have all been women. All of them have been women. But I find it difficult, the challenge, and even most of my followers on my Facebook are women. But I find it so difficult challenge to get women to interact with the desire to pursue cloud tech careers, let alone tech careers. So it's like most of my followers are men, and most of those who engage are men. So I try to put people in front of them that resemble who they are. And so when I did, even I interviewed who's a mentor in our boot camp, Jennifer, were great, but the women on my YouTube, they don't run up as many views as the men do, and it's just because women don't engage with the tech content as much as men are. So while I would love to do more with Black women, I'm always supporting Black women. I got some exciting Black women. There's one who was a psychologist who became a software developer and a SME who's on my channel I interviewed. There's another one who she became a developer. She used to be a speech pathologist who I interviewed who's on my channel. And I'm always uplifting Black women, especially in the tech space. I need more Black women to be engaged in the content for it to continue to make sense, to keep putting people in front of them that look like them, that like show you, look, these are opportunities, but it's just hard to get women engaged in wanting to pursue tech than it is men, if that makes sense to you. So to answer your question, I hope so, to have more Black women and more women from other groups interview them. Um, and at the same time, I would love if y'all continue to share these types of messages with women in tech who are interested in tech or who will be good at being in tech, who could benefit from being in tech. My type of content, because we need more of their involvement in tech. Um, but they just, it's just hard getting them interested. So, and then on top of that, getting them to understand it's a process. It's not something that you can just. It's not a quick hit. It's not a quick lick. It's going to take you a couple months to get this to get right, as far as get the skills, and then it's going to take you a couple more months to actually break in the door and get your first tech offer. Again, I say I always estimate always about 6 to 8 months. But it can take as much up to a year, and there's a lot of women just that don't really interest them. I find. So I hope to change that. I hope you all help change that. But that's where we are with that. Can't wait to listen to the replay. Oh, what's happening, Jacqueline? All right, cool. What else I wanted to talk about? What other questions y'all have? Oh, one thing I wanted to speak on. I spoke about this in this tech group that I'm in yesterday. Putting together, I don't pretty much ask for anything from y'all. Y'all know I sell my boot camp, of course, and I sell my other services. I'm a philanthropy profiteer. Okay, I believe in business and helping people. And I put my cash app there for people to tip if they want to. But this one guy posted that he made this comment that this girl helped him get a job in tech. Basically, he followed all her steps and it helped him land his first tech role. Now, what I learned later on was that the girl was sketchy, but whatever. But when I saw his response, I was like, well, damn, did you leave her a tip? And he was like, nah, the tip is I share her content. I was like, no, like you got to take care of people. You got to take care of the resources that are helping you feed your family. Like that don't just go for me, but that goes for me. That's how I operate. Like even outside of the space of how I help in cloud engineers, like I've always been that way. Whenever I learn from somebody and I gravitate to their message and I follow a lot of their content and I use some of their advice and it works for me or it's made me money or what have you, I shoot them something. Like I'll be like, here's $10, $15, here's some Starbucks, here's something for food, or I buy a book or something. Like I support them because I don't want them to exhaust themselves helping people so much that they lose everything they have and not be able to continue to help people. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to leave you all's thoughts with that and see what you all even think about that when it comes to people that you follow who produce content How do you feel about contribution or reciprocation? Is more so what it is. What are you all's thoughts on that? Jacqueline said, I was sitting here studying, having a scripting exam. Okay. But I had to do a quick, man, I appreciate that, Jacqueline. I appreciate that, man. What you studying? Well, you said scripting exam. So kind of scripting, like you in JSON scripting, Java, YAML. What kind of scripting? All right, let's see what else y'all got. Intro to scripting and program. Oh, okay, you studying a class. Okay, cool. That's dope. Okay, yeah, do your thing, man. That's dope. I mean, you know, the beautiful thing about building your tech career and studying is that you don't is that you get yourself involved in communities. I had an interview years ago where I was interviewing for a job. This was going to be my first 6-figure role, and this was probably I was like 6 months, 8 months into this role, but I had an interview for this company, and they was moving me up, man. I was like, I was one interview away from getting this job, and it was at the time they was paying me, they was going to pay me like $95,000. I was like, man, dang, that's life changing right there. And he asked me, he's like, well, what communities are you involved with? And I couldn't name any off the top of my head because I wasn't in the communities. Like I wasn't invested like that, you know? And that always stuck with me because after that, I started investing myself in communities. And here's what the point I'm getting into is that it's very helpful when you're learning stuff that you surrounded by others who are also learning and moving in the space. And it makes you feel good about what you're doing. You know, it adds to your confidence level, seeing more people get stuck on problems you got stuck with seeing people achieve through obstacles that you faced or are facing. Like you need to go into Twitter spaces, the Black Twitter spaces, or don't have to just be Black, you know, because I'm in all type of groups, spaces. Going to LinkedIn spaces, Techology is one of the free, I think it's like $1 a month or something, newsletters. Like subscribe to tech newsletter, get immersed into the lifestyle so that you can speak the jargon, because it all does add up to your career. Because had I been able to tell that guy, because he could tell I didn't have the technical chops that they wanted for the role, for real. But he saw that I had ambition and that I had some technical knowledge, but I was very trainable. But once I didn't sell him that I was invested in the dream, it kind of really came across that I was just looking for a money-making opportunity. He can kind of tell, and he kind of backed off, giving me the role. So had I just told him of the groups I was involved in, and things I was subscribed to, and the things I was reading, etc., I think that would show him more like, okay, he's serious about becoming technically inclined in this industry. So I just wanted to put that out there for you, Ms. Wade. I know that was a lot, but I always try to help a little bit when I can. But so it's great to be immersed while you're doing your thing, because we all here to help. We want to see you win. You feel me? Linux is next. Go ahead, girl. Man, what's happening, Angel? Appreciate that. Yeah, Python. I still don't know Python, I'll be honest with you. Python is a mug. It continues to elude me. And you will win. Trust me, the work will pay off. Always does. Even when it don't seem like it, and it seems like it's dark, it seems like it's hard, you're not getting all the applaud and approval that you would probably expect, because you're like, dang, I'm becoming the first in my family to do something. It's all gonna pay off, trust me. What you do in the dark will come to the light. So, all right, y'all, I'm about to get off. So before I get off, as usual, per usual, y'all know my bootcamp enrollment ended yesterday, but I'm gonna allow y'all to sign up until Friday, and I got a special discount for you. If you want to get that special discount, shoot me an email tonight, info@bcloud Engineers. Should be one of the pinned messages. I'll shoot you the free discount code. And again, it's only available to you all up until Friday of this day. After Friday of this day, cut off for bootcamp enrollment, and I'm gonna be happy because I'm tired of promoting this bootcamp. I want to actually get to work on other things. Because promoting this bootcamp, I feel like a rapper. I've had to do so much work and interviews and talking and this and that and selling, and it's exhausting. On top of making sure my bootcamp material is A1. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, we got quite a few people that signed up. I would love a little bit more if they signed up in the security with the cloud security engineers, but we're gonna go with what we got, and Jennifer's gonna handle that side, which I'm very excited for. That's why I really wanted more cloud security engineers, because I really want you all to get the jewels that she has to offer. This woman is certified on top of certified on top of certified, works with AWS themselves as a solutions architect on the security side. I mean, a top dog, and you can learn a lot, and we'll learn a lot from her, especially those in the cloud security bootcamp. And those on the cloud engineering side, you got me. But either way, we're gonna get you to that next level in your career. So making you a cloud professional. The boot camp is 8 weeks, which is 2 months. But it starts January 1st. January 2nd. My bad. I try to get you a day break. But yeah, it's 2 months. What you Migos? Who is Angel? Angel, that name familiar. All right, what are the boot camp details? Boot camp details are all here. Let me make sure I put the link here. Man, you know what happened this week, man? I had just got done editing my website because I'm tweaking it up. I'm trying to expand beyond just boot camp. I'm trying to work on my cloud migration projects. Start working with B2B businesses. And man, my freaking website certificate expired. I was hot. I had to open my laptop, do all this. I had to break from having dinner with my wife and everything, and I already had a long day. Let me see. Bootcamp details are there. 8 weeks. We cover everything from Linux. You're gonna get everything we cover are all skills that you're gonna add to your resume. Everything. You'll get abundance of skills that you'll be able to add to your resume. Along on top, you get a free certification voucher. Yep. We'll cover your certification for associate level certifications. All right. So you ain't getting no cloud practitioner certification with us. You're going to get the big boys. All right. You're going to be prepared to take the big boy certifications too by the time you're done with our bootcamp. So, that's what I got for y'all. I'm going to take one more question before I get off. What you got? One more question. No more questions? All right. Well, I'm off. Subscribe, like, share. Again, for that special discount, shoot me email info@bcloudengineers.com. Appreciate y'all for joining me. Look, Yusuf don't went to bed. He's talking all that junk. He don't dozed off with the laptop open. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night, man. Be great. Thank y'all. We're going to do this again next Wednesday. Let's do it.